Just recently, as of May of 2024, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I'm pretty good about having my annual checkups, and my last annual checkup was done in December of 2023. We're now in 2024. Part of the series of blood work is checking my A1C. I'm gonna say that was probably a bad time for me to do my blood work, because when you have your A1C checked, it's a snapshot of the past 3 months. If we think about it, the past 3 months would be October, November, and December. The reason I say this was a horrible time for me to do my blood work is because my birthday is in October. Several other family members' birthdays are in October. We have Thanksgiving in November. There's also Christmas and all the festivities leading up to Christmas, and then everything that's leading up to the new year. So there's gonna be a lot of eating and drinking and just doing things that I shouldn't be doing. I even forgot Halloween, and I love Halloween. So there's the candy, there's the cake, all of the carbs. I love stuffing. You get the point. I was having a ball. My A1C was at 7.1. Just having that one test result is not enough for a doctor to diagnose you with diabetes. Now, I had plenty of time to get this together. I've been diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and it looks like after I went back into my chart and looked at my test results, I've probably been dealing with pre-diabetes since August of 2012. For pre-diabetes, the A1C ranges from 5.7 to 6.4. So I've always kept it in that range. And I was close to normal usually, but it started to elevate a little bit. It looked like it really started to elevate as of 2021 and 2022. I can't really tell you exactly what was going on at that time, but it did creep up a little bit into like 6.3, 6.4. So I was in danger. I just recently underwent a surgery to correct my breast implants, and there were orders that were sent in for me to do blood work before I have the surgery. I just recently had the surgery as of Monday of this week. So orders had been sent into the same MyChart. I need to do follow-up blood work to test and see if the metformin that I was prescribed was helping and bringing it down. Now, instead of me taking the orders that were specifically for the surgery, which I didn't see in there, I ended up using the orders that my primary care physician gave me to do the follow-up blood work. I was at 6.9 this time. So it actually went down, but I was still at that diabetic range. Once you have 2 test results that show that you're in that diabetic range, that's when you're diagnosed with diabetes. So to tell you the truth, I probably would not have been diagnosed had I not done that blood work. But the bottom line is my A1C was up there, and I needed to know, I needed to get it down. Now, while I was shocked and I was upset, I did try to change my mental state and look at it as a time for me to take advantage of whatever the healthcare system is willing to do for me to help me to turn the diabetes around. Unfortunately, this was not stuff that was done when I had pre-diabetes. So since I was diagnosed with diabetes, I called an endocrinologist and scheduled an appointment. Once I got to the endocrinologist, they gave me a blood glucometer. My blood sugar was checked again, and I was referred to a nutritionist. These are all things that I did not get when I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes. My insurance would not cover it while I had pre-diabetes. So one thing that I definitely would recommend to anybody who finds themselves at that pre-diabetic state is don't worry about the insurance. Just go ahead and buy a glucometer and start checking your glucose levels so that you can see where your blood sugar is throughout the day, and you can do something about it. I would even suggest getting some type of education for diabetes. I think education is something that is extremely important to anybody who has pre-diabetes or has been freshly diagnosed with diabetes. So right now I'm just pricking my finger every day and checking my blood glucose at different intervals throughout the day just to kind of see where I am. And I am noticing that carbs and sugar definitely are culprits that bring your blood sugar up, and these are things that I really have to try my best to stay away from, but it's extremely difficult to do. Most of my lifestyle is built around eating carbs and sugar. I do have a predisposition for having diabetes. I have immediate family members who have had diabetes. My mother has had diabetes. Her mother has had diabetes. I believe my grandfather and all of my mother's siblings have had diabetes. So that is something that runs in the family and is something that I really needed to pay close attention to. But unfortunately, while I was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, the education wasn't necessarily there. My mother died because of diabetes. As I think about it, I look back and I wasn't as educated as I am now, and I still feel there's plenty more that I really need to know about this. At the time when she was diagnosed, I know that she needed to go to the doctor and receive treatment, and she refused. She did not go on metformin. She didn't get any kind of medications for it. She wasn't checking her blood sugar. She was adamant about not having any of her limbs cut, which nothing was cut on her. She was able to live with the disease up until the age of 73. She passed out someplace and was transported to the hospital. She stayed in the hospital for several months. Once she was released, we found out her kidneys were damaged and it was at stage 3. And she just refused to give up starches and carbs. She loved Chinese rice. She loved sweets. And that's probably where I got a lot of my habits with eating sweets from as well. And she wouldn't stop. She felt I could do what I want and I can eat what I want. Her idea was, if I say I don't have it, then I put it out there in the universe and I don't have it. It was heartbreaking to watch her refuse any kind of treatment. The last time that she ended up in the hospital before she passed away, it was a little bit after Mother's Day. I had been trying to reach her with no success. Once I got to her house, she wasn't answering the phone. I was knocking on the door. Eventually I could hear that she was in the house. She was telling me that she was gonna come to the door and I'd wait, and she wouldn't come to the door. So I ended up calling fire rescue. I explained the situation to them, that she had diabetes, she was in the house, we did not have an argument. She keeps telling me she's gonna come to the door and she doesn't. They knocked the door down. It turned out she had had a stroke and was in her house for several days. She had lost the ability to walk. She had had kidney failure and ended up on dialysis 3 days out of the week. From my understanding, her sight had gotten really bad. It affected so many different parts of her body before it actually took her out. I beat myself up over it sometimes because I feel, why didn't I try to learn more about diabetes when she was around? I cleared out her house. I was extremely upset about it because she had all these health books and everything to tell her how to treat disorders with food, but ultimately she ended up passing away, and I thought that she was really on top of this health kick, and it turns out she really wasn't. One other thing that I noticed, and I question if this played a factor in my A1C jumping into the diabetic range, is in 2023, I went on semaglutide. My primary care physician did not give me semaglutide. I found a physician and I paid out of pocket, and the semaglutide was coming from a compound pharmacy. I was injecting myself And I did experience some weight loss. I had my blood sugar checked, and my blood sugar was 1 point away from being in that normal range. And the normal range is 4.8 to 5.6. Mine was 5.7 when I checked it after being on the semaglutide. But I stopped semaglutide. I was not taking metformin every day. I was popping it as I remembered. I wasn't taking it on a regular basis. So to say that it was effective or it wasn't effective, I couldn't really say that because I wasn't taking it the way I should have been taking it to begin with. But I do question whether me going on those medications and eventually stopping and having the other one not take it the way I should have, did it exacerbate the situation and push my A1C into the diabetic range? I question that. I really don't know. I do remember after using semaglutide, I had major sugar cravings. Now, mind you, it was summertime. I had stopped taking the semaglutide. I didn't want to keep paying for it. It was really expensive out of pocket. And after I stopped, I was drinking slushies. And those slushies, I actually saw the people in the gas station with a big bag of sugar, and they'd be pouring the sugar into the container. Now, it looks good. It's red, and it's delicious, and it's bright, and it's sweet, and it tastes great, and it's cold and refreshing over the summer. But I was getting loads of sugar in my system, and that kickstarted more cravings for more junk. And I think I spent more time eating junk than I did eating actual food. By the time I finished eating cookies and chips and drinking frozen drinks from the gas station, I was full and really kind of didn't want to eat anything. Plus the fact that I had a teenage son, and there were times when I'm on the go, I'm getting home late, I'm leaving early, we're eating out, I was drinking lattes, and I was just doing the most. So yeah, all of that I think helped to contribute to where I am today. So while I want to lose weight, and I know I have to lose weight, I can now add diabetes to my journey. And this one, being that it's life-threatening, is really something that I am going to have to take seriously and do what I'm supposed to do. So I've been trying my best to stay away from carbs as much as possible, but it's been really difficult. It's been a tough journey. When I first started my channel, I was thinking that I was going to lose weight, I was going to be healthy, and there were going to be all these wonderful changes. And here I am now doing a video on being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So that's my story, and I hope that I'm able to make a change and turn this train around and send it in the right direction. But yes, I will be on to share this journey with you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if this has helped you in any way, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.